This is You Don't Know Anything About Women, episode 25. I'm your host, Roy Calvin, reading some Reddit posts today and giving advice that would probably get me banned if I were to post it there. Let's get into our first post. Everyone else feels like a downgrade. I was dating a girl for 2 years before we broke up almost 4 months ago. The breakup messed me up really bad. She was my best friend, my first ever girlfriend, and a lot of other firsts for me as well. When she broke up with me, it took me nearly 3 months to really recover from the emotional blow, as I had never really experienced a broken heart before. If I'm being honest, I'm still trying to recover. Anyways, over the past month, I've been trying to put myself back out there with Hinge. I won't try and be modest. I'm getting a lot of matches and likes on the app. The problem is every one of them feels like a downgrade in comparison to my ex. The conversations aren't as natural, they aren't as funny / don't get my jokes. I'm not as attracted to any of them as I was to her, etc. The spark that we had just isn't there with these other people. I just don't know how to view these dates in a way that isn't directly comparing them to her and seeing all the different ways in which they fall short. It's not a fair comparison by any means. I knew her for 2 years while it's a first date for everyone else. Still, it's hard to go on dates and not feel defeatist from the get-go. First off, I want to address what basically everybody is saying in the comments, which is that you're expecting a girl that you're on a first date with to have as good of a connection with you as your girlfriend that you had for 2 years. But I disagree with all those comments because this guy says in his original post here, it's not a fair comparison by any means. I knew her for 2 years while it's a first date for everyone else. You understand that aspect. I don't know why everybody is hounding you about it. So look, pretty much everybody in the world has gone through this situation that you're going through where you break up with a girl who you thought was so amazing. And yeah, you're kind of just comparing everybody else to her in the meantime. And maybe she was amazing and maybe she is better than these new girls that you're going on dates with. But you will find other awesome girls. Of course, that requires you going on dates and actually being open to finding a new girl instead of just thinking in your head the whole time, she's not as good as my ex-girlfriend. You said here in the first paragraph that you've never really experienced a broken heart before, and so it took you 3 months to recover, and you're still recovering. That's totally normal. I remember breakups that happened to me in like junior high and high school, and it just seems like your whole world is crumbling down around you. And then a few years later, you just realize, oh, actually, that meant nothing. And then 10 years later, you're like, wow, I was so fucking immature. I was a child. And this was not even close to a real relationship of any sorts. But to me at the time, yeah, it just felt like the world was fucking ending. Also, I didn't mention when I was reading it, but the guy is 20 years old. Like, you have your whole fucking life ahead of you. And I hate saying that because I hated when people would say that to me about anything in my life, because it's kind of like, well, that doesn't help me fucking right now. But yeah, I mean, I wish at 20 years old I was on apps like you, getting matches and going on dates. I assume you're going on dates anyway. You say you've been on a couple and you're getting a lot of matches. But when I was 20, I was doing basically nothing. So I wish I was like you and going on as many dates with as many women as I possibly could. With all that being said, though, I've hung out with so many girls in my lifetime, and the vast majority of them have been girls that I can't really complain about. Like, there's nothing blaringly wrong with them. But there are a few through the years who just really have that something special where it's like, okay, this is not actually the type of girl that I come across all the time. And I'm not just talking about looks either, by the way. Every girl that I approach is going to be hot. But I'm talking about just like the personality, the way she acts. There's something special that doesn't come around with every girl that I've met. But the difference between you and me is that I've been on dates with, I mean, it has to be hundreds of girls at this point. And you're 20 years old and you've been with this one girl for 2 years. So I don't think you really have any experience to say who is really special or not. Like, I can think of my first girlfriend in high school. I know I mentioned junior high a few minutes ago, and yeah, I had like girlfriends in like fucking elementary school and junior high, but I don't really count those as like real. But I think my first real one was high school. And of course, at that time, I just think she's so amazing. This girl, wow, she'll spend time with me and let me fuck her. Like, she's amazing. She's so special. Where am I ever going to find another girl like this? And now, of course, looking back so many fucking years later, it just didn't matter. And she wasn't that great. And you realize that you were pretty young and stupid. Not that I regret taking advantage of that situation and hanging out with this girl and banging her for however many months that lasted. But yeah, as you get more experience, I mean, you're only 20 years old. You date a few more girls. I'd say it's a good chance that you'll find that this girl, actually, she wasn't really that special. She just happened to be around you and convenient, and you stayed together kind of for those reasons. You're definitely not over this girlfriend because you say everyone else is a downgrade and they don't get your jokes. You're not as attracted to any of them. The spark isn't there that you had. But still, I think the pathway to success is to keep going on these dates. I have so many posts on this show of guys complaining that they don't get any dates or even any matches on dating apps. So the fact that you have dates, This is what you need to get over girls. And I just think that as you keep dating more girls, you'll find out, yeah, this past one wasn't that special, or at the very least, if she was, you will find another one. I also want to bring up one negative comment here that's not even that popular of a comment because nobody has replied to it and it only has -1 point, but I think it caused the OP to edit his post. So the comment says, "The fact that you're grading people this way makes you a downgrade. Your prior girlfriend deserves better. Glad she moved on." And the edit that the OP made, which I think is in direct response to that, says, "For clarification, I made this post because I know it's bad to look at dating like this. I'm actively looking for advice on how to not feel this way." So don't worry about this stupid comment. I don't even understand the complaint of the comment. It's saying that you're not allowed to grade people, like you're not allowed to compare girls, like, oh, you know what, this girl I went out on a date with this week is not as good as the one I went on a date with last week. Like, why would that not be allowed? You're not even grading. You're not like giving a number or letter rating system. And even if you were, I would have no problem with that. So don't worry about that stupid comment. I just wanted to mention that because it seemed like it kind of got to you, even though it's not even that popular of an opinion. Okay, let's move on to our next post for this episode. The worst thing she can do is say no. I rarely approach women in public, but it has nothing to do with rejection. I don't mind rejection or even humiliation. That's not the worst thing. The worst thing is making some girl think, wow, I can't even do blank without a man hitting on me. I offered to buy a girl a drink at a small concert the other weekend, and when she said no, I thought about leaving. Not because I was humiliated, I laughed it off as I walked away, but because I thought my continued presence at the concert would make her uncomfortable. I kept thinking that she'd probably never go to a concert alone again because of me. I don't know. Every situation feels like the wrong one, like there's always a chance I'm ruining something for someone by flirting. A girl asked me for a spot at the gym? Seems like a good opening, but I wouldn't want her to feel like she can't ask a man for a spot without being hit on. Chipotle girl remembers my order, law school schedule, and internship location. Seems like she could be interested. But if I'm wrong, maybe she'll feel like she can't make small talk with customers without being hit on. I literally just don't ever want to inconvenience anyone. I think I have a lot to say about this one because I know these feelings very well. I'm not sure I believe that you don't mind rejection or humiliation because I think those are kind of how you feel when you walk away from a girl who says, no, I don't want you to buy me a drink. You kind of feel rejected and humiliated and it just kind of snowballs into this, oh my God, I ruined her night kind of feeling. You're overthinking everything extremely. I mean, that's obvious, but let's just assume for a second that you're correct and that that girl or any other girl you approach does say, wow, I can't even go to a concert without a man hitting on me. Even if that was the case, like, what's the other choice for you? To just never talk to women and never get laid and never go on dates, never have a wife or whatever your goal is in dating? I don't think that's fair to you. You need to go after what you want in life, even if it is going to make some people upset. Let's keep on this path of assumption that you actually did kind of ruin her night, even though I don't think that's the case at all. You said that you think your continued presence at the concert would make her uncomfortable. If that's the case, then she should just go home, right? Not you. You didn't do anything wrong. You saw a girl you thought was cute. You went up and tried to talk to her. She wasn't feeling you. So it's over. And if that makes her uncomfortable, it's not your responsibility to fix the situation. She is free to leave if she wants. You just stay at the concert. You act like everything is cool because it is. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't try to hurt anybody. You saw a cute girl and you tried to start a conversation with her. Well, you kind of tried to start a conversation. I don't agree with the whole drink buying thing. I think you should have tried to have a short conversation and got her number and then talked to her after the concert or whatever. But anyway, you did nothing wrong here. As long as you approach everything from a good place, you're not trying to hurt anybody, you're just a cool guy. I hope you think that you are, and you want to go up and give your presence to another girl. You want to welcome her into your world because you're a fun guy to hang out with. You want to share that with her. As long as that's your mindset, how can you ruin anything for anybody? It's their fault if they don't see what's in front of them and they want to be uncomfortable. Now let's imagine these two situations. I go up to a girl and I talk to her for a few minutes and it's nice and everything. And then I ask for her number and she says, no, I don't want to give it to you. Okay. And then we separate. Then she thinks to herself afterwards, oh, well, that was a nice conversation, but yeah, I'm not interested for whatever fucking reason. Or I go up to a girl and I talk to her for a few minutes and she's clearly not into it. And I ask for her number and she doesn't give it, of course. And I leave and she says, oh my God, I fucking can't enjoy this concert now. I'm worried about guys coming up and flirting with me. Now, I understand for you, that second one might be rough because it seems like you have a thing about thinking that you're making girls uncomfortable. But for me, it's like both of those ended in the same thing. So what the fuck do I care? Both of these girls are not interested in me. They're not going to go on a date with me. They're not going to sleep with me. What do I care? I don't care if one girl is uncomfortable from me or if she just thinks, oh, that's a nice guy, but whatever, I'm not going to meet him. Doesn't matter to me. It shouldn't matter to you either. Let me tell you one more story. It's not really a story. It's something that I've done in the past and maybe we'll do again at some point. It's a very petty thing that I do. I'm not proud of it and I don't recommend that you do it. But sometimes when I go up and approach a girl, she will just completely fucking ignore me. Like no fucking response at all. And sometimes in that situation, not always, like, I've walked up to her, now I'm standing next to her. If I get that kind of response, I just take out my phone and go on it. And we both just stand there in this awkwardness because I'm like, well, I don't know. I came up to you, tried to have a conversation. You're the one that made it awkward by not saying anything to me. So I'm just going to stand here and act like everything is normal because to me it is. You've created this situation for yourself. So if you'd like to leave it, you can, but I'm staying right here. Again, that's not something I brag about or something that I recommend that you do, but like the logic of it makes sense. I mean, I'm trying to have a nice conversation with you. If you just want to ignore me, that's fine. The burden is on you to walk away, not me. I just want to circle back again to you saying that you feel like there's a chance you're ruining something for someone. Doesn't your night kind of get ruined or experience kind of get ruined if you go up to a girl and ask for her number and she says no? Now, I've done thousands upon thousands of approaches, so it's not going to ruin the day for me. It might ruin the minute or the hour, so I'm not implying that you can't do something like enjoy a concert after a girl says no to you, but it makes you feel uncomfortable for at least a short period of time. So why is that okay, but it's not okay for you to maybe make a girl feel uncomfortable for a couple of minutes just because you shoot your shot? There's nothing wrong with it. Final thing I want to touch on here for you is you say there's a Chipotle girl who remembers your order and law school schedule and internship location. If this is an ongoing thing, not something in the past, do something about it. Let's ask this girl out. Come on. Maybe she'll feel like she can't make small talk with customers without being hit on, is what you say. Well, okay, she can fucking get a new job where she doesn't have to talk to anybody in her life. That's fine. You got to go after what you want, and yeah, you might inconvenience some people sometimes briefly, but how they deal with that is not your responsibility. Okay, let's go on to post number 3 for this episode. Why is dating so hard? I'm 27 years old trying to date to find a long-term relationship. Only through dating apps, as outside of work, I don't really meet a lot of new people. The last girl I've been texting is giving mixed signals. Went on a date last Monday. All went well and she even said she had a good time. But as of Wednesday, I feel like she's getting distant or not really texting as much as before. It feels like I have to start the conversation all the time. If I don't ask a question or text first, I don't think she would text. I know that I overthink a lot, so her not texting a lot today really makes me feel like she is not interested anymore. I did ask if she wants to go on another date, and she actually said yes to it, which just makes me even more confused. So I guess we have a second date planned, not this weekend, but the next. But yeah, the lack of texting from her side or starting conversations makes me feel like she will cancel on me later this week or something. Should I just stop texting her and see if she texts me? What should I do? Something about me that people who have listened to this podcast for a while have probably heard is that despite all the dating success that I've had, it has not come to me easily. I've had to work for it. I'm not one of these guys who just gets girls blowing up their phone, asking him to go on dates. And I've had to be the one to pursue basically 99% of the women that I've dated or banged or whatever. So for that reason, I wanted to skip ahead to the final line of your post right now that says, should I just stop texting her and see if she texts me? That type of mindset has rarely ever worked for me. I have to be the one who pursues the girl. I cannot just lay back and wait for her to text me. 99% might be a bit of an exaggeration, but like it's not far from that. I remember a few over the years who, like, if we're hanging out for a few dates and then I stop seeing her for whatever reason, then I remember some that have reached out and been like, hey, what's up? Are we going to meet again? But most of the time, if I don't text a girl back, like, that's going to end. And I'm saying this with someone who is like, in the top whatever fucking percentile of dating success in the world. I mean, I think I've looked it up before, and the average number of sexual partners in the United States for men is like 6. I mean, I've lived fucking a million lifetimes based on that data. But still, girls are not actively pursuing me. So that is to say, it would be wrong for you to expect that a girl would pursue you. You have to be the one to make things happen. So let me just go through your post a little bit more here before I get to a comment that is giving you just absolutely terrible advice. So you went on a date on Monday, but as of Wednesday, you feel like she's getting distant or not texting as much as before. To me, this is totally normal. Now, something else that I bring up a lot on the podcast is that most guys that I read about are texting way too much. I basically don't text at all in between dates with girls. It's not a hard and fast rule, it's just the way things work out, and it's mostly unnecessary to text in between. But I have run into some girls over the years where I feel like I do need to text more frequently. It's just kind of their personality type. I mean, before the first date, I need to text more frequently to get them kind of comfortable and get them to come out with me. But even those types of girls, after we go on the first date, they usually will slow down in their texting afterwards. And these are girls, by the way, who I went on second and third dates with. There's usually just a lot more talking leading up to that first date in my experience than afterwards. So the fact that she starts texting less after it is totally normal and something that you don't need to worry about. You feel like you have to start the conversation all the time. Again, back to what I do, just don't text in between these dates. There's no conversation that needs to be started here. Pretty much the only texting I will do is scheduling the next date, which you've already done. And then like the day before, I will send them a reminder that just says like, hey, see you at this place tomorrow at this time. And they'll say, okay, hopefully. And if they don't, well, I know that the date is pretty much not going to happen and I can save my time. Which brings me back to the present where you say that you have a second date planned next weekend, but the lack of texting from her side or starting a conversation makes you feel like she will cancel. Of course, it's always possible that they'll cancel, but if they schedule a date, I mean, the hardest part is over. You've got that accomplished. Well, maybe the hardest part is actually getting her to show up. But before that, you've got her to agree to a date. So just like I just said, the day before your meeting or whatever, text her and say, hey, see you tomorrow at this place at this time. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about starting conversations in between. Save these conversations for when you meet, and you'll seem a lot more interesting because you won't have used all your best quote-unquote material during texting. Not that it's really material, but you know what I mean. Like, let's have some conversations in person. Don't try to burn out before you even meet her again. So again, that final question you ask of should you stop texting her and see if she texts you? Yes, stop texting her, but if she doesn't text you, don't worry about it. You don't need that. Your next message can be that reminder message that I just mentioned. I want to go down to the comments now. I mentioned one really bad comment that I must address. It says, I hear you, man. I don't know about you, but I don't like mixed signals or people's behavior switching up on me. Life happens, so I get it, but I'm direct. So if it was me, I'd ask, hey, your texting patterns are different. I just noticed you're texting me less than before, so I want to check in. Are you losing interest or is something else going on? Something like that. I don't have time for games or spending any cognitive resources for questioning how someone feels about me. I cannot stress enough, do not take this advice. I know I've got lots of experience, but I feel like the average guy would see that this is a terrible text message to send. It just makes you seem really fucking lacking confidence. Hey, you're texting me less than before. Are you losing interest? If the girl wasn't losing interest at that point, she is now. If you say something like, hey, are you losing interest? Awful, awful text message to send. Comments like this are why I started this podcast, because I'm trying to give out some real advice, not this. I don't know where this guy gets this. I'd like to see any situation where it worked out for him, this guy who left the comment. So I hope you go on the second date. Make sure you send her that text message the day before, just confirming it. And if this second date is successful, you want to see her a third time, then don't text in between. Just maybe a couple days after the date, set up the next one. There's no need to have big conversations over text or to worry about if she's starting conversations with you or not. All that matters is that you send an invite and she says yes. Okay, let's go on to post number 4 for this episode. I hate how much people care about sense of humor and confidence in dating. Just to be clear, I'm 32 years old and I just hate how much people value the other person making them laugh. Life is not a game. It's not a laughing matter. It's serious. We need to treat it more seriously than we have been. Also, confidence. We treat everyone around us like idiots. It's no wonder barely anybody has any confidence besides narcissists. Confidence is incredibly rare and it's unreasonable to expect anyone to have any, especially in dating when everyone is treated like trash. This is my own fault because I choose the post that I'm going to talk about on this podcast, obviously. But I mean, what can I even say about this one? It doesn't seem like a guy who really wants any help. He didn't really ask any question, that's in line with the rules of the subreddit. He doesn't have to ask a question. He's just venting. But I don't feel like there's anything I can do to help somebody in this terrible state of mind. I do find it funny, though, that in pure Reddit fashion, the top comment is, I think you should go see a therapist. You need it. And also the guy's response is, didn't help. I say several times on this podcast that therapists don't know shit. Especially I see like dating therapists get recommended sometimes. I mean, unless there's a dating therapist that's done like 10,000 cold approaches or been on as many dates as I have, I don't want to hear their advice. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but it's like, do you want a football coach who has never played a game in the NFL before? It doesn't really seem like it makes sense. So yeah, I'm actually not really going to give this guy any advice. I don't think there's anything I can do to help. Doesn't seem like he wants help. But let me read through some of his comments, and I'll try not to shit on him too much. I'll try to give some real commentary about his thoughts. A comment says, "Tell me you're not funny without telling me," which is totally true. And the guy responds saying, "Never said I was. I don't laugh. I don't tell jokes because there's nothing to joke about. We've got serious problems in the world right now. We shouldn't be joking around. We've done too much of that already." I mean, I also think that we have serious problems in the world right now, but I still want to bang girls, so I'm not going to let that get in the way of me accomplishing that. And I also think that in my whole adult life, if I waited for a time where there was no problems in the world to bang a girl or date, then I would just have never done either of those things. He later replies to a comment saying he values his humility greatly, but has zero confidence and a lot of self-hatred. Now, this might be a situation where he actually needs a therapist, because what can you do for somebody who's just on Reddit complaining about dating and then saying he hates himself and doesn't laugh and doesn't make jokes? Absolutely is a person with a lot of issues. And there's several times in the thread where he just says he has no confidence or sense of humor. In one commentary he says, "I'm sorry for my negativity. I just really hate myself and wish I had what I posted above. A sense of humor, confidence, and just an entirely different person. I could help with that, but I'm just not gonna bother." So, I don't know. I'm sorry to everybody who wanted me to read a post like normal and give advice on it. There's just not really much I can do with this one. I don't know why I chose to talk about it. But at the very least, if you think you're having a bad day or you think you're having no success in dating, there is always somebody out there who is doing worse than you. And this guy would not be a lost cause either, but he needs to want to find success and want to be happy, right? So seems like it's a little bit far away from that. There's nothing I can do right now. So let's go on to the next post, the final post for this episode. "Gave my number to the coffee shop girl on a napkin. Now I'm confused. I've been a regular at a coffee shop near my office for a while. There's this girl who works there, and we've had that glance and smile thing going on for weeks. I finally decided to shoot my shot. Yesterday, I wrote on a napkin, 'Hi, you have beautiful eyes. Can we connect on WhatsApp? Here's my phone number.' I handed it to her as she was leaving her shift. She seemed genuinely excited, eyes lit up, asked, 'This is for me?' And I told her to read it when she got home. The update, it's been over 24 hours, and silence, no text. I went back today and she was there. We made eye contact and she gave me the same friendly smile as always. She was with coworkers, so I didn't want to make it awkward by asking about the note. The dilemma, if she was that excited to get the note, why hasn't she messaged? Is she just being professional and polite, or am I overthinking the 24-hour delay? What's the move here? Do I wait it out or just take the friendly smile as a soft rejection?" I think you went about this the wrong way, and I will try to give some advice so that you could go about it the right way in the future. I applaud you for taking some kind of action here, which was writing your number on the napkin or whatever and giving it to her. But I think that's like movie shit and it's just so overplayed. So I just always recommend against doing things like that. So it's good that you tried to do it, but yeah, it's just the wrong way. It is rough approaching girls who are working because they are paid to just be nice to everybody. So I think it's usually wrong to assume that a girl who is working and just nice to you every time that you go in is into you. She's probably like that with everybody, but also it could be real. So you definitely want to find out if it's a girl that you're interested in. I'm absolutely not saying just, oh, all girls are like that and therefore just forget about it. No, you got to find out. But now you're in this situation, and even though it's not a situation that I would put myself in, I gotta find out what I think I would do in this situation to recover and have a shot with this girl. But yeah, just to clarify, you gave her the napkin and her eyes lit up. She asked, "Is this for me?" It's it's not really a big deal. She could have thought that you were handing her anything, like money, a tip. It really doesn't matter that she seemed happy at the time. You said that you went back after 24 hours and she was there with her coworkers. You didn't want to make it awkward by asking about the note, which is fine. I think it's okay to have that level of courtesy when a girl is working. But this also tells me that, well, I assume at least she is not with her coworkers sometimes, like sometimes she's just alone. That would be the time when, I would go up to her and just ask about the note. There's any number of ways you could approach it. Some of the ideas I have, I don't really love any of these, but again, it's not a situation that I would like to be in or that I would put myself in. I could just assume the best from the girl and be like, "Hey, I didn't get a notification that you added me to WhatsApp yet." Like kind of just assuming, of course you would. So like just starting off your query by assuming the best from her. Like, of course she would add me to WhatsApp. So, hey, I think there's a problem because I didn't get a message or anything from you yet. So it can just be like, yeah, maybe I wrote my number down wrong. How about I add my number into your phone right now? Now, if the girl gave you a straight up rejection, like, nah, sorry, I'm not interested, then I wouldn't recommend doing this, of course. But it's like right now, let's just assume the best from the girl and that a mistake was made and that she does want to talk to you. She just made a mistake or whatever. You wrote down the wrong number. Anything could have happened, right? And then once you say something like, yeah, I'll put my number in your phone, and she says, I don't want to. Okay, well, yeah, then it's pretty much over. That's fine. We'll keep our head high and walk away from it. Another way to go about it is just to be a bit more direct and be like, hey, I noticed that you didn't add me to WhatsApp yet. And we'll just see what her answer is. Maybe it's, oh, I forgot, or I'm not interested, or oh, well, that's strange because I added you, but wow, I don't know, it didn't show you. Maybe I got the wrong number. Anything could happen. Like, you just don't really know until you're in the situation. Pretty much all these methods are either going to get you messaging with her or for her to say straight up, yeah, I'm not interested. And okay, we can deal with either one of those. It's fine. Of course, she still could give you her number and then just not reply to anything you say, but then it's pretty obvious at that point she's not interested. So the next time you meet a girl who's working and you want to get her number or whatever, don't do this whole napkin passing thing. It's good that you've been going there regularly and you talk to her a little bit. That's fine. So if a similar situation ever happens with another girl, I would just say when she has a minute of alone time at the job, just talk to her and say that you want to hang out with her sometime and get her number and start the texting from there. I do think you have to find out what happened with those suggestions that I just gave. And if it's a rejection, then that's fine. Just keep going there as normal. Again, it's pretty much over, but you can keep going as normal. Keep talking to the girl. Maybe in a few months you say again, hey, you want to hang out sometime? Maybe you get the same answer. Maybe you don't. But yeah, it is a bit of a delicate situation when a girl's at work. We don't want to bother her too much. Other people in like the game or like fucking dating coaching area might say that I'm a pussy for thinking like that, but I do know the reality. It's tough when a girl's working, and you do have to accept it when you get a straight up rejection. But I don't think you should change your schedule. If you like this coffee place or whatever, just keep going as normal, act normal. And I don't think there's anything wrong with maybe asking the girl for her number again in 6 months or whatever, but with words, not with a napkin. Okay, that's it for this episode of You Don't Know Anything About Women. Make sure you check out the link in the show notes if you want to get in touch or if you want to support the show, and I will see you next time.